I remember simpler times when only one watch was all I needed. To have that one watch you could wear when you're dressing up, dressing down, or just needing the time. It was always easy to just choose that one accessory to have. However, as watch collectors, it's very hard for us to choose to just have one watch. But what if you ever reach that point? What if you reach the point where you're tired of all of this, but you want to have one solid piece? The piece I would choose is from the House of Omega, and that is from their Aqua Terra line. In my opinion, the perfect one watch to have. So within my personal collection, I'm actually very minimal with what I choose. I've been collecting for a very long time, and there were times where I had over 20 watches, and there were times where I had only one watch. But recently I've been very picky with what I add to my collection because I'm tired of the whole flipping game. Now I don't mind flipping with more affordable watches just to have some fun, but with my core collection, I've been very minimal. Lately, because I have such a small collection, I've been wearing pretty much one watch consistently, and that is the Alangan Zuna 308025. This watch, though most people might find it kind of weird that I'm wearing it as a daily, but I think it's close to perfection. There's only one thing about this piece that makes it hard for me to wear every single day, and that is the water resistance. But other than that, it is a very robust watch, very reliable caliber. It is heavy, so it feels substantial, and it is close to perfection. But with that being said, when I really think about it, I think there is one watch that I would almost recommend to anybody they only want one watch to have, and that is the Omega Aqua Terra. Now instead of my typical reviews, since I already have a full review on the Aqua Terra itself, I'm probably just gonna repeat myself from that review. So instead, I'm gonna be giving you guys 5 reasons why I think the Omega Aqua Terra should be on your radar if you only want one watch or if you just want a solid everyday piece. But before we get started, this video is in association with Exquisite Timepieces. When considering your next luxury purchase, it's important to find someone you can trust, but also authorized dealers for the brands. Today's sponsor is ExquisiteTimepieces.com. Exquisite Timepieces have been in the business for the past 30 years, and they're authorized dealers for many brands such as Omega, Plopa, Breguet, Glasuta, and many more. They also carry high-end watches in the pre-owned section, so make sure you check out ExquisiteTimepieces.com or book a call with Exquisite Timepieces to consult about your next purchase. Now, before we move on to why the Omega Aqua Terra could be the perfect one watch to have, allow me to first introduce this piece and what makes it so special. This specific watch was introduced in 2018 as part of a collaboration with the Riders' Cup. The Riders' Cup is a golf competition from competitors from the USA and Europe. It's a very important competition in the golf world. However, as someone who doesn't play golf myself, what drew me to this piece is the aesthetics. Now, I don't usually start off with my negatives when I talk about a piece. However, I do have to speak about this first and foremost because for those of you who don't necessarily care about the golf competition, this might bother you. The caseback. The caseback has a massive stamp covering that beautiful coaxial escapement, so for those of you who don't care about the Riders' Cup, this might not be for you. However, if you could get past that, the aesthetics of this piece, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful Aqua Terras they've ever released. Now the last thing I want to mention with this Omega Aqua Terra is the fact that Omega is playing with the white, gold, and blue combination. Now you'll see with the blue rubber strap, there's actually an 18 karat gold link that holds the rubber strap in place. And in my opinion, this is actually a very beautiful touch from Omega. When you put it on the wrist and you wear it outside, that gold link shines in a way that's absolutely stunning. This is probably my favorite thing about this watch, so that's why I wanted to mention it in the beginning of the video. Now I'm about to go through my 5 reasons why I think the Omega Aqua Terra is probably the perfect everyday watch for you. However, I do have a full detailed review if you want to learn more about the Aqua Terra. This video I'm not going to be focusing too much on specifications and in-depth reviews. I'm going to be focusing on why I think this could be perfect for you. So if you want, I'm going to have the link down below. Make sure you check it out. Now the first reason I think the Omega Aqua Terra, this specific model, is a perfect one watch to have is design harmony and colors. Now one thing I preach all the time, if you're going to have an everyday piece or just one watch to have, the last thing you want is to have a boring watch. Now with this specific Omega Aqua Terra, the Riders' Cup, there's absolutely nothing boring about it. One thing Omega could have easily messed up is the color combinations. Now when you have white, gold, blue, and hints of red, it's very easy for you to do it in a way that has no harmony and in a way that it won't be versatile. But when you look closer at this piece, you'll see that Omega somehow managed to have harmony between all these colors, and nothing is overpowering in terms of design. When you look at the piece, it's very easy on the eyes, and that was very important, and no doubt it was very challenging for whoever designed this piece, and Omega did it in a very tasteful way. Now I know what you're thinking. How could this be the perfect traveler's watch? It's not a GMT watch, and it's not a world timer. Well, a GMT watch and a world timer tend to have complicated looking designs, but this one is actually a fantastic traveler's watch, and that's because it has a jump hour function. To operate the jump hour function, you just have to put the crown to the second position, and as you can see, as you twist the crown, the hour just jumps to wherever you need it to go. What this does is if you're traveling, you can change the time without changing the minutes, and you could change it extremely fast if you're trying to catch your next flight, or if you just want to change it as fast as possible. This makes it very easy to operate and very consumer friendly, which is one of my favorite functions when it comes to the Aqua Terra. Now the next reason is versatility. The Omega Aqua Terra is the most versatile watch in the market. You can easily dress this piece up or dress it down, change that rubber strap to a bracelet, and then change the bracelet to an alligator strap if you want to wear it with a suit, put it back on a rubber if you want to wear it with a t-shirt and shorts. It works with anything. Now the next reason is of course durability. Now first and foremost, this watch has 150 meters of water resistance. While I wouldn't take it diving necessarily, most people won't be going beyond 100 meters anyway. 150 meters of water resistance is more than enough for an everyday piece. Now the second thing is this watch is anti-magnetic up to 15,000 Gauss, and of course you get a sapphire crystal, overall making this watch an extremely durable piece if you could only have one watch. Now the last thing we're going to talk about is the reliable caliber powering this piece. But before we do so, I wanted to talk about Omega in general. Back in the day, I used to be a vintage watch collector. Most of my vintage pieces I had to take it to my local watchmaker because most of the brands refused to touch their vintage watches. Not Omega. One thing I loved about the brand and I respected as soon as I found out was even if you bring them a watch from the 1930s, if they could service it, they will. And they'll let you know if they can't find parts for it, but they'll at least attempt to service it for you. That's a lot to say about the brand because most brands, I'm not going to talk about specific brands, refuse to touch vintage watches. But Omega stands behind their product. It doesn't matter if it's from the 1920s, 30s, 50s, 70s, they're still going to service it for you. A big advice I will give you is to always research the brand before buying a watch and before investing into the brand. After all, when you're spending thousands of dollars, you're investing into the brand. So you want to know that the brand will stand behind the product years from now. So that is one thing I really respect about Omega, is even their vintage pieces, they stand behind it. So you can rest assured if you buy one of their modern pieces, if anything goes wrong, they'll fix it for you. Now if you want to learn more about this movement, make sure you check out my full review. I'm going to have all the links down in the description below, but I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. This is Omega's Caliber 8900. Has the coaxial escapement, it is META certified, and it has a magnetic resistance up to 15,000 Gauss, free sprung balance with a silicone balance spring, 2 barrels, and it has over 60 hours of power reserve. So realistically, if you're going to be wearing this watch every single day, 60 hours is more than enough. Of course, it's nice to have the entire 60 hours of power reserve if you decide to put the watch down and you're not going to wear it for a few days. It's nice to know that you're going to pick up your watch in a few days and it's still going to be running. 60 hours of power reserve is more than enough for an everyday piece. But guys, as always, I wanted to first thank Exquisite Timepieces for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check them out if you're considering any watch from their website. Make sure you hit them up and let them know that you heard about them from this channel, and they'll hook you up over there at Exquisite Timepieces. Now guys, I would love to hear from you what your alternatives are to the Omega Aqua Terra, or what is your perfect one watch to have. Add it in the comment section below. And guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.